What's up, YouTube? My name is Sean. I'm just a Canadian lad. I was born in Ireland, but I moved to Canada at a young age. And I'm just walking around. I'm kind of bored, so I figured I'd just chit chat about whatever comes to mind. So, as you know, Donald Trump is the president of the USA right now, and he is causing a lot of problems with his longtime neighbor, Canada. Putting tariffs on products and stuff. And I kind of understand, like, when he says that the US is giving $200 billion a year to Canada just to keep Canada afloat. I can understand that that's a bit insane. So, I mean, I can't really fault him for trying to make the playing field a little bit more even. Excuse me. However, if you look at, there's something called the Club of Rome, which is kind of like an elite group of people. I'm assuming mostly billionaires and such who pull a lot of strings in the world. And they drew up a map, I think it was in the 60s, of the world divided into 10 regions, which is something that is, I believe it's mentioned in the book of Revelations that something about, I haven't read up on this, I'm just kind of going off the top of my head here. But anyway, the world would be 10 regions. That would include North America with Greenland all being one. Also, I believe Europe is another region. Hello. There is, I think China and Russia is a region. I'm not sure. You can Google that if you want to look it up. So there's speculation that Trump is attempting to fulfill the goals of the Club of Rome, and that may be the case. Also, there's some interesting things about Donald Trump with regards to his relationship with Israel. First thing you need to know is whoever is placed in as the president of the USA is controlled by Israel. The Israeli lobby, AIPAC, pretty much pays every congressperson in the USA thousands to millions of dollars. I don't know the exact numbers, but you can look that up too. That's a fact. And whoever's the president is also subservient to Israel. Getting a little out of breath here, I'm out of shape, but anyway. So, because of this, the decisions being made by the US government are not they're not equal to each man, woman, and child. And there's even favoritism of the Israelis over the American people. If you look at cities, look at like Los Angeles, look at San Francisco, look at Philadelphia, there's huge areas of homelessness. There are people addicted to drugs everywhere. And apparently every day there's something like $10 million sent to Israel. Israel is pristine, it's clean. They have more rights than anyone else. You can walk around with a fucking machine gun under your arm. And I mean, like, that's a bit extreme. I don't think people really need to do that, but I guess when you're living on land that you stole, it's probably important to stay strapped. Now, back to the land called Israel right now. Back in the 1940s, there was a few Jews living there. I don't know how many, maybe a couple thousand, maybe more. But you can find things online that show the size of what Israel was when it was given to the Jews by Britain, USA, and I guess the League of Nations through the Balfour Declaration. And Israel was like a little speck on the land called Palestine. But if you look at it today, the Palestinians have Gaza and they have the West Bank, and those are small areas, and I don't think they have anything else. And also, like, every so often, Israel will just go in and kill people. Israeli citizens who all have, I don't know what they got, AK-47s or whatever the fuck they got, they will drive over to their neighbors who are not Jews and they'll just kill them, take their homes. And apparently that's A-okay with the global community, because you don't see anything done about it. The United Nations will condemn that, but you know, ooh, that's bad. But they don't actually do a damn thing. They have no authority. And then you look at the USA, who is the big boy on the block, apparently, and they just get on their knees and lick Israel's balls because they're all controlled. They all want that money. They don't give a shit about human life. They just want to make that money. And they don't even make the money, they just get given that money to shut up and be obedient to their masters. The first foreign leader who came to visit Trump after he began his second presidency was Netanyahu, of course. And Trump pulled the chair out for him. He tucked him into the table like a good little boy, good little goy. And that's the way it is, okay? So if you think that he's pulling the strings or calling the shots, no, it's not Trump. It's people who control Israel, who I wouldn't even say Netanyahu's the guy at the top of the pyramid there, but he's the spokesman. If you've ever heard of a rabbi named Schneerson, anyway, he died, but the Jews, some of them think he's gonna come back to life and be their Messiah. And there's other Jews who think Donald Trump is gonna be the Jewish Messiah, which, if you're a Christian, you know that the Jewish Messiah is the Antichrist, because the Messiah already came however many thousands of years ago. And the story of Jesus is that he came, he lived as a man, amongst men, amongst women. He didn't come with a sword. He came peacefully, and he just spoke the truth. He just continuously kept speaking the truth, exposing the evil in the world. He would go into the temple of the Jews and flip their tables over. And, he said, you're making my father's temple a den of thieves, something like that. And eventually they killed him. And if you look at most of the bloodshed in the world, there's a certain group of people that's behind it. Now, I'm not saying all of it. I mean, every man, there's no good man except for God. Like, when Jesus was alive, he was the only good man to ever walk the earth. But if you look at the wars going on right now, you have Israel causing a genocide in Gaza. You have Israel provoking Iran. They attacked Syria. Israel attacked Lebanon. They all the wars are based on the evil done by Israel. Another thing is September 11th, 2001, the World Trade Center towers were taken down, and there's a lot of different viewpoints on that, but there's also a lot of things that connect that attack to Israel. There was Israeli art students in the tower prior to 9/11. They were working throughout the night, most nights. And from what I've read, they were also, the areas that they were working were the floors where the big explosions happened. Some people say a jet went through the building. Some people say it was just an explosion and they used CGI to convince us it was a jet, but I don't know either way which one is true. I'm just saying it's something to look at. Now, if that's true, okay, then that means they attacked the USA. And how many people died because of that? American soldiers went to Iraq. They've gone to Afghanistan. They've killed millions of people, okay? Literally over 1 million people. Just gunning down civilians and everything. And that's all because of the attack on September 11th. There's also, there was an incident back in the 60s where Israel attacked an American warship, the USS Liberty, and they, you know, I don't know if they sunk the ship, but they killed a lot of soldiers on it, and the USA did not respond. As far as I know, the president at the time said it was a mistake and we would never attack our best friend Israel. Something like that. I don't have an exact quote on that. So these are just some things to think about. If you are interested in the reality that's happening in the world right now, you should definitely want to know about these things, because once you know about these things, you start to realize the people that we're told are God's chosen people and all this stuff is actually bullshit. These people are the synagogue of Satan, okay? I'm not saying all of them. I mean, I've met some Jewish people. I wouldn't say they were good people, but I don't think they were conspiring to take over the world or anything. But if they're benefiting from the actions, international actions that their people are causing, the wars and the death and the terrorism, then they're part of it. So I mean, it's not something that I'm trying to say you should hate those people or try to do them any harm. It's all I'm saying is we should be open to discussing these things, because if we can't discuss what's actually happening in the world, then we're all just blind. And we're just, I mean, if you're blind, you're blind, okay? Don't try and argue any points if you won't look at everything. Okay, something else here. Okay, so Israel has basically destroyed Gaza. Like, Trump stood there beside Netanyahu and he was saying, you know, we got to move those people out of there. There's been too much death and destruction and, you know, carnage and murder. But he never looked over at that guy standing there, that goofy looking, ape looking guy, and said, why did you do this? Why did your army kill all these people? Why, you know, and the reason is because he's on the payroll, just like all of them. He got selected because he bowed down. He received the money from Miriam Adelson, who's a billionaire Jew, and he's in their pocket. There is no debating that. There's absolutely no debating that. If you're a Christian Zionist, you're a fool, okay? Because you're not a Christian. Because Jesus exposed those people. He said, ye are of your father the devil, and the works of your father you will do. Now, if you believe that those are the God's chosen people because they started calling themselves Israel, that's a lie. Anyway, I'll do another one of these sometime. This is my first time ever doing this, so it's probably not the best quality, and I probably have snot dripping out of my nose and yada yada, but all I can say is keep your eyes open, look at all information, try to come to the truth. Don't condemn anyone. As you know, the Lord said, you who condemn, you shall be condemned. I mean, so, and that's like condemnation unto death. So yeah, just try and do your research. If anything I've said is false, please point it out. I'm open to learning new things. I'm open to admitting I was wrong about things. I mean, if you're not keeping it real, because all of us are wrong sometimes. Okay, so God bless. Have a good day and all that.